This is Cutting Down the Nets. It is Wednesday, March 9th, recording Tuesday evening with still lots of basketball going on, none of which have gone my way tonight, and that's okay. We're 0-3, and we're not going to complain about it. Not going to complain about Northern Kentucky melting a 16-point second half lead. Not going to complain about Wagner just staying on the bus. Just not complaining. And we're going to move on. So, with those three losses, I do have Cal Baptist hanging. Don't let us bagel Cal Baptist. 55.5 on the year in the last 7 days, even with those losses at 56.6%. So let's get on to Wednesday. Let's turn the page and let's get this back. Utah, Washington. It's a thin play for me on the Washington side. I have it 4.5 or 5. It's about a 1.5, maybe a point at some shops right now. But Utah's profile is drugged down by their most recent game against Colorado. Their adjusted defensive efficiency in that game kind of pulls them down a little bit. So that might be a tad inflated. Probably not too much, but it's still pretty thin in my mind. I recently lost Florida State bet over the weekend. Anytime I lose, I want to dig into it, see if I missed anything. And I did miss some stuff. Not with who was playing in the game, but since I hadn't been on many Florida State games, I had not realized how many injuries they had. I knew Osborne was out, and he's their best player. But they also lost Caleb Mills for a period of time. Polite was out for a period of time. And really what happens here is that even when these guys are back, that's fine for the game they're playing. But a lot of data exists with them not at full strength. So that is why Syracuse is showing as a play, and I'm going to sit that out. That's why it's dark orange. Also, Edwards is out for Q's. Now, he's been out for a few weeks, but still a few data points include him with it where Syracuse is a little stronger. Speaking of injuries, Bryce McGowan's missed last game for Nebraska. Nevertheless, Nebraska got it done against Wisconsin. That's 4 straight offensive outliers for Nebraska. Now, should I be using the word outlier when something occurs 4 straight times? Yeah, I'm gonna. Because here's Nebraska's adjusted offense last 4 games. 121, 144, 128, 122. Pretty strong. Prior to that, they had 2 games this season above 110. So yeah, I think these are outliers, especially when one occurs without McGowan's. I will not bet that game. Stanford, ASU, they split the season series. Basically, in both games, ASU forced turnovers, Stanford crushed the boards, and that's what the matchup says should happen. In their most recent game, ASU did win by 9, despite going 2 of 17 from three-point range. I do like how the ASU defense has been playing, and I just don't have much hesitations about this. I weight recent play, and this team's playing better. The rebounds are, I guess, a little bit of a concern, if I'm being honest. All right, Butler Xavier. Xavier's played quite a few games without Nate Johnson, arguably their best player. And their defense has been broken for a long time, but I think a lot of that can be attributed to Nate Johnson, who I didn't know he was a great defender, but I'm using evanmaya.com. He does individual player ratings, on-off splits, stuff like that. And Xavier's defense is just better when he's on the floor. He's also their best perimeter shooter by far. So a lot of data of Xavier does not include Nate Johnson. I think that's significant. Butler, also now healthy. They've been healthy a few times this year. Each time they're healthy, someone gets hurt. But yeah, I'm just not sure how to feel about that. Kind of the Nate Johnson factor is where I'm at. So I haven't made a decision on that game yet. Cal and Wazoo. Andre Kelly, who's out for the year, has missed the last 10 games. They're 3-7. Offense has struggled without him. This comes down to Wazoo perimeter and Wazoo strengths. Wazoo perimeter, 44th in three-point rate. And when those shots don't fall, their offense craters. They get below 1 point per possession very often when the shots are not falling from deep. Cal, a good 3-point defense. And their 2-point defense is okay to decent as well. And I look for that to determine, regression candidates and things like that. Like if someone has an awful 2-point defense, but a great 3-point defense, Either they're just like closeout monsters and then give up easy jumpers. But typically, if you're good at 2-point defense, you're also good at 3-point defense. So not an awful matchup for Cal either, meaning each strength that Wazoo has, Cal also has a strength on the opposing side. It's like Washington State forces turnovers, Cal doesn't turn it over. Washington State good at offensive rebounds, Cal good at defensive rebounds, and so on. So I think it can be neutralized a little bit, and I like the Cal side. Rice and Charlotte. Rice is 322nd in adjusted defensive efficiency, and they do not force turnovers, which obviously factors into that number since if you come down the court, you're getting a shot. So they are a decent three-point shooting team, and they generate a lot of looks. It's a 43.5% three-point rate, so a little bit of variance on the Rice side. But even though Rice is 347th in turnovers forced in their last game, Charlotte had 18 turnovers against Rice. So I look for that to get cleaned up because Charlotte is not typically loose with the ball. So you have this situation where a team that doesn't turn it over a whole lot plays a team that doesn't force any turnovers, like only 10 more in college basketball forced less. And Charlotte somehow found their way into 18 turnovers. So you clean that up. I don't know. I'm fine with that. And again, recent play is saying Charlotte, and it's not all that close. McNeese and Northwestern State. McNeese coming off like a 117 possession game. That's like playing 2 basketball games against Virginia. And this will be fast paced again, but they've had like 4 days to recover. These are 2 bad teams. Offensive rebound for McNeese. They have an edge there. I'm just going to pass on that game, but I call it out if you blindly play Paddy. Something to note on Hartford UMBC. UMBC is the host team of this tournament, so I did add in a home court there. You can decide if you think a home court is warranted or not in those situations. And Vermont is also playing a home game, so I added in home court there. We'll have a few matchups tomorrow. A lot are undetermined. I had to shoot this a little early due to family obligations tonight. And we're going to get it back tomorrow. And you know what? We're going to get it back right now with Cal Baptist is what we're going to do. So this is Cutting Down the Nets. Let's have a good March.